Thank you, everybody. Yesterday we all had red shirts. Today we all have blue shirts. So you can pick us out of the crowd. And actually, I was going to do this at the end, but why don't you guys all stand up and smile and wave? And this is my whole crew. I would introduce them and tell you who they are, but you're going to see all of that in this video we're going to see in just a moment. I just want to tell you just real quick, I'm the past, they're the future. I'm retiring at the end of next month. So you won't see anything about me well, that's not true. You won't see anything about me in the video, but I twisted all their arms to say how wonderful I was, so you'll hear my name, Nate Butler, a lot in the video. But Jose Carlos Gutierrez, Jose Carlos, you stand up again just real quick. Jose Carlos Gutierrez is taking my place as the head of the ministry in the future. And so these guys are the future, and I'm super, super proud of them. And what does COMIX35 do? COMIX35 is based on Exodus 35, verses 30 to 35, which, as most of you here being artists know, are the verses about God gifting the artisans who will create the works of art for the tabernacle. And they're not only, God gives them the ability to create the art, He teaches them how to, or shows them how to teach others. And I worked for Archie and DC and Marvel and Jim Henson for years, and the Lord took me into, after 20 years of working in that, in my own studio, into this ministry of COMIX35, of teaching other people how to produce their own comics for their own people in their own languages around the world. And so that's what we've been doing. Well, you'll see on the back of our shirts that our whole thing is to lead people to Jesus Christ through the visual storytelling medium of comics. So, yeah. So this is all the my flapping my mouth part of this presentation, and everything else will be video, and you can roll that now, please.
Hello everyone, my name is Gabriel Geske. I am Thai American, born and raised in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and now live in Fargo, North Dakota, USA. Currently, I work as a freelance artist as well as a staff for FCS, the Frontier Comics Seminar Program, a comics workshop heavily inspired by Nate Butler and the COMIX35 ministry. I first heard about COMIX35 when I met Nate Butler at one of his comic workshops. He was teaching through the SOCAM, the School of Cartooning and Animation in Chiang Mai, Thailand. Last year, he invited me to help expand the COMIX35 ministry in East Asia. And right now, we are hoping to see some doors open next year for us to be able to go and start working in Japan. But before that happens, we have a lot of preparation and prayer that needs to be done, and we'll see, Lord willing, what He has in store for us in the future. So I'm glad to be here and looking forward to meeting you all. Thank you.
My name is Iago Williams, and I'm a member of the COMIX35 team, thanks to Nate Butler. And I'm a member of the Conquerors International Strength Team. We are a group of athletes that travel all over the world doing feats of strength while spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. I have a comic book style, but I'm not a professional comic book artist. I just became a Christian about 11 years ago, and on that day I really wanted to give God my all, and that included my talent. So I draw to honor God, and I'm really excited about being included in this project, because I've been asking God to show me a way to be able to use my artwork to bring Him glory. And if there's any way that I could show someone else how to use their artwork to do the same thing, I would love to be a part of something like that. Above everything else, I want my artwork to be used to bring honor to God. the name above all names, Jesus Christ. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ian Dale, and I'm an illustrator for children's books and media based in Los Angeles, California. I went to art school and I actually started out there as an atheist, but during my time in college I came to faith and it just really transformed my perspective and gave me a new purpose. Since that time I've really been seeking ways to tie my artistic interests with kingdom endeavors, and as a freelancer for the last 12 years I've had some great opportunities to team up with different missions-minded organizations. One of those is the American Bible Society, which is a trauma healing program. With World Vision, for their child sponsorship, I've created illustrated booklets. And then I've also was part of a team of artists that worked on the Bible app for kids, which has animated Bible stories available in over 40 different languages around the world. And most recently I've been working on a couple of children's books called the Advent Storybook and the Easter Storybook. And with those we really want to bring families together with a focus on Christ around the holidays. As an artist I tend to work long hours alone behind my computer, and so I was really glad that through social media I was able to meet Nate Butler and also find out about Comics35 so I can see what other artists out there in the field are doing. So I'm glad to be here.
Hi, my name is Jose Carlos Gutierrez. I'm 42 years old. I live in Mexico City. I've been doing comics since 2005 when I entered an international Christian comics competition held by Comics35, and by the grace of God, I won the first place in the amateur category. Since then, I've been serving with Comics35 different activities. I've been trainer in 3 seminars in Mexico City, a workshop in Literal, Singapore, and different webinars. I've been published in Christian Magazine in Mexico City and in a youth magazine in Kenya. So it's great to be here with you.
Hi, Dave Durham here at your service, hailing from Tamauliwood in New Mexico, otherwise known as the Burque here locally, or Albuquerque. I'm an aspiring illustrator. I met Nate Butler in the late 80s when my mission group to the Choctaws stopped in a McDee's in a tiny town, and I was illustrating at a table. And Nate had just walked in behind my booth. Nate made a comment about my art being cool and said he had something for me in his car, which turned out to be an A to Z comic he had created with a number of other fairly well-to-do artists. As my emphasis for saving souls dominated my thoughts in those years, and wasting time drawing was last on my mind, and I'd actually been offered an opportunity to train at Marvel Comics through a schoolmate whose uncle worked at Marvel, and I declined. Later on, decades down the road, when my own evangelistic efforts didn't pan out, I had visited Nate and I saw how fruitful he seemed to be and envied his accomplishments, but kept telling myself I could somehow divorce myself from my artistic abilities and my calling to evangelize. I look forward to being used for kingdom works and anticipate the need to use the remainder of my days in the accurate communication and representation of the gospel.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Lacaze. I'm a French-Canadian from Montreal in Quebec. I worked for 5 years as a mason. And I've just recently returned in university to be a social worker. I am married and I've been an involved member of my church since 2010. Where I got baptized after putting my trust in Christ. I've always enjoyed drawing, and since I'm really young, I don't remember when I really started. I met Nate from Comics35 in 2011 from a comic book conference he held in Quebec, and he came back in 2015 where I took part in the same conference with him again. This was the first time I got published, and this is what we did. And I am honored to be invited to the gathering in Tennessee, and I am looking forward to meeting you all.
My name is Marissa Pauser, and I am 26 years old from the United States. Currently, I am a hairdresser, but I enjoy doing freelance illustration, graphic arts, and some cartooning. My affiliation with COMIX35 was while I was in the School of Cartooning and Animation for Missions in Taiwan. I have been interested in cartooning since a very young age, probably like 2 or 3. I've always enjoyed manga and anime, anything that just sparks a fascination with beauty, so I guess that's where the hairstylist piece comes in. A lot of my artwork is very fun and colorful. As opposed to drawing comics and manga, I do a lot of watercolor and a little bit of acrylic. I enjoy working with light colors and things that just kind of make you feel happy. I enjoy charcoal as well, so a lot of realism. I'm excited to be meeting other artists here at the gathering. It's so exciting to be here in Nashville and a big honor to be invited. So thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Skillet, and I'm from the United Kingdom. And I've known Nate Butler about 20-something years. Back then I had hair, glasses and a beard. A lot has changed. I draw, I write, comics of course. I've been doing those a long time, and I'm still doing them now. And I work for people like the Salvation Army. And I produce stuff for lots of different publishers, for the BBC, for Toyota, the car manufacturer, I've drawn for them too, for the English Football Association. I write and draw for lots of different companies and people. Well, and also, I'll tell you what, I do my own comic too. Self-published comic that is, called Mockingbird. It's a science fiction tale. You're probably seeing lots of the pictures coming up now as I'm talking. Exciting stuff. So I'm Skillet, and I'll be in Nashville very soon. In fact, I'm now rambling. Anyway, take care.
Hi, I'm Preston Morgan. I'm 17 years old, and I'm from Houston, Texas. I've been a Christ follower for several years, and every day I try and grow closer to God and find new ways to love Him and to serve those around me. Even though I've been drawing for a really long time and I've known Nate for several years, this is really my first time working with COMIX35. But I'm really excited about the opportunity, and I'm really excited to see what God's going to do with it to impact His kingdom. I think art is super important as a form of creative expression because it's a really good way to communicate our love for God and God's love for us and the hope that we have to people who don't understand that and who really need it. In a way, we're sort of like God's works of art in that He had an image in mind for us and He had a creative purpose for us. And as we become closer to Him and we become more defined by our relationship to Him, I think that the picture of us becomes more clear and more fleshed out as we become more and more the masterpieces He intended us to be. One thing you should know about me is I really love to learn. I really love to grow. I'm always picking up new techniques and trying out new art styles, and anytime anyone wants to show me a trick or something that they know, I'm always open to learning that. Overall, I'm just super excited about COMIX35 and the opportunity that God has to further His kingdom.
Hi, my name is Robert Flores. I'm the founder of Bible Art Books, based out of Riverside, California. For the last 20 years, I've been privileged to be able to work on different kinds of tracks, comics, and short stories that have been able to reach people in all kinds of walks of life. Some of the missions organizations that I've worked with have been able to produce tracts such as these, comic book based tracts that have reached people who would never read the Bible, but they would read a comic book. And we've heard several stories over the mission field over the years of people coming to know the Lord through comic books. I'm very passionate about using comic books as a medium to reach people and share the gospel of Jesus Christ with them. I'm very excited also about COMIX35 and how God has raised them up to be a leader in using comics to reach people. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this movement. God bless.